Hey everybody, Tom Barnes, stories from the 78. I got a good story because it starts in Australia to Nashville and here in Chicago on September 11th at the Chop Shop. My friends Sheppard, the band, they're going to be here in town performing stuff off their new album. And this band, I'm talking 36 times over platinum across 19 countries, 2 times platinum here in the States. Their catalog's just been released. They got a whole bunch of stuff going on. So I thought I'd talk to them, check in with them ahead of their show here in Chicago. How you guys doing?
Yeah, we're great. We've just got back from the first leg of the tour. So a bit exhausted, but it went really well. So we're pretty good.
Yeah, and you said the first leg of the tour, but I mean, I feel like this tour is an extended tour just because you guys are from Australia. You moved to Nashville, right? And like that in itself is a journey. So like talk about that for a second, if you will. Just like why did you decide to come to the States here? Nashville is it's a hotbed of music, obviously, but that journey probably wasn't a decision that you guys came to pretty easily. Or maybe you did.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming. We haven't toured the States for 6 years, and that was due to a number of reasons. We had like a nightmare tour, our Watching the Sky tour, which was the last tour we did in the States, and it literally nearly sent us broke. And
Jeez, that's not good. Yeah, that sounds like a nightmare.
But we're still standing.
Yeah, I was just going to say everything that could have gone wrong went wrong. George got really sick on that tour, and we just kind of have PTSD from doing that tour. So it took us a long time to decide to tour again in the States. But yeah, back to the question about moving. It has been a long time coming. And of course, we were thinking of moving to the States, but back in 2020. But of course, COVID happened. And
that whole thing.
Yeah, that whole thing.
Yeah.
Pushed all the plans back a few years. And then we finally just decided that, after that happened, it was now or never. And we went through the visa process and, moved over. And we decided Nashville because, we've been to LA and New York and we've been around the States a lot, but we just never really felt like anywhere was
suitable for us.
Yeah, suitable, didn't feel like home to us. And then Amy visited Nashville in 2019. And she loved it and was like, you guys have to come and visit. It's such a great city and lots is starting to happen here. And even though it's just people think it's just a country music city, it's actually grown a lot. And there's a lot of producers from LA moving out here. And it is such a central location to tour from. So that went into our decision as well to move to Nashville.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and like you said, it's music city. It's not country music city, right? You know what I mean? So yes, the country music scene is expansive there, but excuse me. I know Jack White, rock and roller, went out there, did a little country, but and other bands that have gone to Nashville over the years and fell in love with it just because, what's not to love when you got live music, barbecue, cowboy boots. The whole thing is just fantastic, right?
Yeah, it's been amazing. We've really loved the culture shock and just being amongst great musicians. Back in Brisbane, there are great musicians in Australia, but I feel like it's really spread out. A lot of them are in Sydney and we're in Brisbane, so sometimes we did feel a bit isolated from the industry. And here we're just in the thick of it, and if we're not touring, we're writing or we're doing a podcast or something cool. So there's just lots for us to do here, and it's been a nice change.
Yeah, you guys have gone 36 times platinum over 19 countries, 2 times here in the States. You just, did I read right that you re-released your catalog on streaming or released it on streaming, and it's been streamed already over 1 billion times, 2 billion times? Did I read that right? That's incredible.
Yeah, it's wild. When we had Geronimo, Spotify wasn't really even a thing, so I'm sure we missed out on a bunch of streams that would have happened. Crazy.
You'd be at 6 billion now.
Yeah. It's crazy the amount that just the way that song hit, and we're just very grateful to still be touring, and it's all thanks to that song here in the States.
Even to this day, that song is still we feel like it hasn't had its full moment in America at least, but it still resonates with so many people.
Yeah, it had its biggest streaming day a couple of weeks ago, so it's highest streaming song day ever, which is just wild. I can't believe the people covering Geronimo.
Absolutely. I'm talking with Emma and Amy Sheppard here, and thank you again for joining me. But 10 years of that song being out, and it's now at its almost maybe at its highest popularity it's ever been, where your band has been thrusted back in to the ethos of social media. I know a lot of that has to do with like a lot of songs from your earlier stuff has starting to peak. You're getting more views. Like, it's crazy how social media, like, this is a good story of how social media and streaming has helped an artist, right? You know, especially you guys kind of came out, like you said, in that weird time when Spotify wasn't a thing, YouTube wasn't what it is now, and streaming certainly wasn't what it is now in general, with even with Apple. So it's got to be this wild ride of like, well, finally, here we are, you know?
Yeah, I was just gonna say TikTok didn't even exist at all back then, so it's nice to see it continuously having these resurgences, whether it's because of a sync, it's been on a movie, or whether it's because someone's done a silly trend. It just seems to be the song that never goes away, and we're really happy about that. You know, we get comments being like one hit wonders, and we're like, we're not mad about that. Like, everyone dreams for a song like Geronimo. So yeah,
Hell yes, they do. They're just haters. People who will always, people who crap on people who do good things, regardless of what they think. Whatever. Like, we won't even give them the time of day. But because this is about you. This is about positivity. So, you know, in that vein though of like creating music, is it when you're playing, and you'll be here in Chicago on September 11th at the Chop Shop, which is an awesome venue to be playing at. Do you have like, you know, because this song is big, but it's 10 years old, are you excited about playing it like as an encore, or do you want to come out the gates with that song? Like, how do you guys go about your set list from town to town?
Yeah, I mean, people always ask us, do we get sick of that, of playing Geronimo? But when you play it in front of a live audience, it's always just as exciting, because they're there to see, you know, they're there to experience that song, and they're jumping up and down, and you get the energy from the crowd. And so it's like, it's so nice to see, and how like, I mean, it's been crazy, because we called this tour the Say Geronimo tour because we wanted to reintroduce ourselves. We've had trouble in the past with connecting our name to our song or songs. So that, yeah, I was going to go on another tangent there.
That's fine. It's just us girls talking.
Yeah. And then, what was I going to say?
Yeah, the purpose of this tour is to reintroduce ourselves to the audience and remind people that it's us that sings Geronimo, plus all of these other songs that you probably have heard in
playlists.
You know, your running playlist or your feel-good cooking playlist.
Guilty.
Yeah, we do get a lot of playlisting, but sometimes that can be difficult, because people hear the song, they love the song, they might even add the song, but they never really like click that they're like, oh, they also sing Geronimo.
Yeah, you know what? That's funny that you say that, because I have that problem with streaming. You know, with CDs and records, you know, you have that tangible thing where you look at it like, I'm probably older than you ladies, but when I was a kid, I used to run to the mall, you know, which doesn't exist really much anymore, but run to the mall and you grab CDs or tapes and you look at the liner notes, you read them, and you sit there and replay, you know, hit repeat on your stereo or boombox or whatever. And with streaming, when you love something, you can give it a heart. And sometimes on Spotify, you know, you have that feature now where he'll add songs to a playlist that they think you might like. And honestly, some of your songs popped on there. So when I'm like, wait a minute, I know the sound of this band, but I don't know the band because I don't know the song. And then I look, I'm like, oh, it's the same. Oh, cool. But that's like a real thing right now in music, where you have to like almost go out of your way to remember the name of the band that's playing the song, because you could be on a playlist of like 300 songs.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's been great to see the people that are coming to our shows are like super fans, and they know every single word to pretty much every song that we have been playing. So it's been such a great tour, to be honest. And
a lot of them are new fans as well. We always ask, who's been to a Sheppard show before? And there's a handful of people, but for the most part, they're all new fans who have never seen us live. So that's really exciting for us as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole purpose. Like you said, reintroducing yourself to the people here in the States for sure. Chicago. Have you played in Chicago before on your last tour? I can't remember.
Yeah, we did. We played Chicago. Actually, that was the last show we did on that tour. And
was this the tour from hell that you're talking about?
Yes, it was. But
I hope something didn't happen here to make it bad. I hope not.
No. It wasn't any of the places. It was more so, you know, just
it was
like
just
the
like
financial bit of it, the sickness, the crew, like that, just a lot of things that just didn't.
like we one of the stories is we couldn't get our crew cleared for visas, so we had to use this skeleton crew here in the States, people we didn't know. It were just like really, I don't know, just
Not our people.
not our people, and I
Yeah.
don't think they got along between themselves, and it was just like a bit of a disaster there. Plus it was Thanksgiving, so traffic was awful, and we were always late to like set up the stage, so we were constantly stressed. Budgeting was off, and so it was just like a string of events, but
See,
we made through it, we got through it, and I'm just so grateful that we have another chance to tour again, because it did nearly break us, but luckily we're still here.
And now
Yeah.
it's like we're, you know, working it up from the bottom again, and it's just us. We don't have any crew. The crew is pretty much like our partners. So my husband's a tour manager. Amy's husband is a photographer, also roadie, setting up the stage. Kathleen, George's wife, is a physio. She's also setting up the stage. They're just doing whatever they can, merch, anything they can to help us, you know, fulfill our dreams and then get out and tour.
Yeah, I imagine in a roundabout way, a humbling experience is just to have like everybody kind of band together. Like, no, we're gonna do it our way. We're not gonna have any other outside factors get in the way of what we want. And also a bonding experience. I mean, it's like almost like going to camp, right? Where you're going to camp with these group of people, and if you go to camp and you are about with people that are not great, camp's not so much fun. But when you have a group of people that is great, it could be an unforgettable experience.
Yeah, and that's what we've found. It's been really tough, very humbling, but doing it with the people that we love, and like we have two great band members here in the States that are amazing, and it's a lot of fun, and the adventure is, like one that most people would never experience. So we're very grateful for that, and you know, we go through these hard times, but it just helps us appreciate the good times even more, and yeah,
it's been very rewarding, probably the most rewarding tour that we've ever done, and that's really saying something, because we've done a lot of touring in our 10 plus years of careers, and even though it's probably the most basic tour in terms of like no crew and
no lighting,
small venues, it's definitely been one of the best, because we can get home at the end of the day and just be like, oh my gosh, we did it, we made it through, and we
didn't lose money.
Yeah, because people forget you guys got to make a living at this. It's just not like money falling from trees. Even if you're on Spotify or if you're on, you know, YouTube, things cost money, crews cost money, you know, getting music done costs money.
And we pretty much broke even on this tour. So yeah, I think it is a big wake up call for a lot of people that we actually not making money at this stage. But our goal on this particular tour was to not lose money and reach our US fans again. So we've ticked that goal, and that's something that we're extremely proud of, because we know next time we go out, it's going to build a little bit, and that's the way we're approaching it. We're just investing the time, putting in the hard yards, and we truly believe that that's going to pay off.
And I imagine doing this as a trio. You have your brother George, who's not with you right now, but you guys are that's the band, right? That's what people see. I imagine it's just got to be difficult. I have two brothers, you know what I mean? So it's three boys from my poor mom and dad. But we had a hard time like figuring out if we were going to go and have barbecue or, you know, Chinese food. I can't imagine how difficult it is to move across the world, literally across the world. I mean, as close as I've ever gotten to Australia was Fiji from here. So, and that was a journey in itself. So I can't imagine picking up, moving across the world and like setting up shop, going on tour in a country that you don't know. That, and with I mean, I guess it's great that you have your partners with you, like you said, and your siblings, but also probably at times not great, just because it's all of you guys all together all the time. You're in a different spot. There's different stresses, but I imagine when you can come to a show, it's all worth it.
Yeah, and that even though the show is probably like, you know, and it's an hour of your time on stage,
right, yeah,
and the rest of the time you're like doing all the hard work, but it is very much worth it. And yeah, like you said, it is really hard because there are six of us that have to make one decision together, but we're all pretty understanding, and you know, we get along really well, and we hang out with each other outside of the band. So we are
That's
a
good.
family. So it does help, and we all have our place. And like, you know, Amy and George are pretty easygoing. They'll you know, do whatever. Where I'm the like, we're here with this, you know, a bit more organized in the sense like I'll pick where we eat for dinner, and like I'll put out to everyone, and everyone makes a decision. Yes, this place, and yeah, it just works really well.
Do you guys have like any traditions or any routines that you do on the road to pass the time when you're driving from venue to venue? You know, like, do you guys play Uno? Do you guys play categories? Like, is there anything that you do that passes the time?
We were playing this game that our guitarist Zach introduced us to, and it's just the simplest, like, it's a dumb game, but it's fun. And it's, you just have to call out a number, and see how high you can get without someone saying the same number.
So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You know, like, and then if you say 6 at the same time,
you have to start again.
Yeah.
Well, I can imagine how that could get competitive and maddening all at once.
Yeah, like, ah!
I think you get as high as 10, and then you have to start again with a car full of people.
But yeah, like, it's been great. I mean, we've just driven from Arizona to Tennessee, so that was
that's a haul.
Yeah, that was pretty awful, but it's good. Like, you get to see a lot of the states, and probably more than the states than most Americans will see. So the opportunities, it's such a great opportunity to see the country and experience the culture, and you know, we get to see, like, we see a moose on the side of the road, we'll pull up. You know, we got to see the Breaking Bad house in Albuquerque.
Sure.
Just random stuff like that you never even think that you would even see that.
I know, like, we went to Palm Springs, and we weren't even meant to be going there, but we saw it was on the way, so we had lunch in Palm Springs, and that was a real highlight.
Very fancy of you guys.
Yeah, I mean, probably would have had a budget, but it was just really cool to see. Because I don't get there. Like, I don't know people touring Palm Springs unless you get to Coachella. So, yeah, definitely we're getting to do and see a lot of things along the way, and I'm sure we'll be talking about this tour for, you know, years to come.
Yeah, this will be the book in about 5 years, maybe, huh?
Yeah.
What would you say is the biggest difference between, like, or not even difference, but like, what's the thing when you have been driving through the States and you're going from town to town on our highways and you meet different people? What's the thing where you're like, now that is not something I thought I would ever even associate with America? Like, that is just blows my mind.
I guess, like, some of America really looks like Australia, which surprised me.
Yeah, where were we?
Like in Arizona, we were driving towards Texas, and it was like the red sand and just like open fields, and I was like, wow. I was listening to an Australian podcast, and for a moment there, I just forgot that we were even in the States because it just looked so similar.
That's fun. It makes you feel a little bit at home, and you know, yeah, we do that here. Like, it's bizarre because you can, like, in California, it's a whole different area than the Midwest versus the East Coast and New York City and Boston. So I imagine, though, you kind of got the same vibes in Australia because, I mean, you guys are about the same size as us, right? Yeah. Like, as far as the country?
We are, but I mean, everywhere you go in Australia is pretty similar. Like, whereas you cross you cross the state border here, and it's just like can be completely different. And like when you tour in New York compared to Denver, like, you know, the convenience stores are different.
Oh,
just,
yeah,
like,
for sure.
Shops are different. You can buy different things, whereas like Australia is like pretty much like all the same.
Some states they'll let you buy weed legally. Some states they don't. It's so it's weird.
And in one day we crossed 6 states, I think. And so,
holy cow!
Really crazy to see how much, you know, the vista changed, and like the topography of everything. Like,
the drivers changed.
There was cactus, and then there was like a moose. Like, just wild.
I will say they had better drivers in I want to say California than they do in Tennessee.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Well, I do know just from my wife being from California that they have the highway patrol in California, and they are insane about pulling people over if they're speeding or on the phone or in the high occupancy lane, you know, the express lanes and stuff like that. Yeah. I've heard stories. But before we wrap up, and thank you for taking time to chat with me. I really appreciate it. You guys will be here Tuesday, September 11th. I think it's Tuesday, or is it Wednesday?
Let me look really. It's Wednesday, September 11th.
Thank you. Wednesday, September 11th. But do you guys remember like being in this trio? Do you remember the first show you ever played?
I remember the first show I played because I joined the band after Amy and George had already started the band, and I had to prove myself, and I went and learned bass guitar for 3 weeks, and then they pulled me up on stage for one of the shows for one song, and that was in Brisbane at the Powerhouse, and yeah, it was terrifying because it was in front of
pressure.
It was in front of all of our friends, and I think I forgot to plug the bass in until halfway, and
that's how your family rolls, huh? You guys just throw right in the fire.
Yeah, exactly. And they're like, here's a microphone.
So yeah, that was our first show as a trio, which is crazy. And then she did a good job, and we gave her the job. So
thank God.
And here we are 10 years later, and now U.S. based band for right now. I think I read that the plan was for like 2 years to kind of get reestablished here in the States, and then what's after that?
Well, we have 3-year visas. We've already nearly done a year, which is crazy. But we want to see how far we can get in the US. So if we can, do as much as we can in those 3 years, and then reassess. But I think we want to, stay in the US and be able to be a touring band around the world. It would be goals.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great goal. And here in Chicago, we love our music. We love our music venues, which I'm sure you'll see at the Chop House. But you were talking about different things. You said you saw the Breaking Bad house. Have you guys watched any shows that are based in Chicago, like The Bear, that's on like FX? I don't know if you guys get that. Or, well, you've been here. Have you seen The Bear?
I've seen one episode. I really want to get into it. I really want to start it again and just watch it again. But even though I've watched Shameless. I know it's not it's Illinois, but it's that's like I watched that over and over. I've seen that about 10 times. I'm watching it right now.
Yeah, that's like the south side of the city, so different neighborhoods, but nonetheless, The Bear though is in River North, and the reason why I bring it up is there's a spot. So, how long are you guys in Chicago for?
Probably a night, but if we get time, let us know what to do.
Well, if you have time and you are a fan of The Bear, and if you have to, when you're getting up this way, if you stream it, binge watch it at least, you'll be able to go to Mr. Beef, which The Bear is. The guy that wrote The Bear worked at Mr. Beef, and the whole first season is essentially from working in that place, and it's in River North, which isn't far from the Chop House. It's not farish, but so. I give you that to check out our food scene in this city is better than any city in the United States. Honestly, the food scene here. I mean, you can go from sushi. People always freak out. You guys have sushi here? It's like, yeah, we have a giant airport where you can get stuff from California and New York City here in like 2 hours. So we. But I recommend checking out the food scene in the West Loop or in the neighborhood Wicker Park where you guys would be, or Logan Square. But Mr. Beef for sure, and get yourself a hot dog if you haven't had one.
Okay.
Unless you're a vegan, then do something else. But either way, the food scene's fantastic. So thank you again. Go ahead. Sorry.
We also played Lollapalooza in Chicago.
Oh, we did too.
Yeah, I totally forgot. Yeah, but then this like huge storm rolled in, and we had to all the artists had to bunk down under the stage, and it was like a bit.
Sounds like Lollapalooza.
Yeah, hit and miss there for a while, but then we got up on stage and.
Yeah, that time of year in the Midwest is a weird time where it gets really hot during the day, and then right at the break of night to day, or day to night, I should say, thunderstorms roll in, and it's over in like a half hour. But man, oh man, it dumps a lot of rain down and ruins all of our concerts outside.
Yeah, summer, hey.
For folks who want to follow you guys and see all that you're doing and find that, we haven't even talked about the album, but the new album that's out, where can they find all that information?
Yeah, so we're at We Are Sheppard, and it's SHEPPARD. A lot of people think it's like shepherd is in shepherding sheep, and it's not.
No.
Spell it.
But
and the new album.
The new album is called ZORA, and
you can stream it, buy it anywhere you get your music from.
Yeah, I'm biased.
As artists, though, where do you want people to get it if they had a choice?
Purchasing
Purchasing a vinyl, I think, is always, when I see people purchasing our vinyl, I get really proud because it's just like,
I don't know if you can see that right there, but
oh,
there's some vinyl for you guys.
Oh wow.
love it. I love collecting vinyls as well, and it's just like you get to listen to the album in full with a vinyl.
Yes.
That's really special, and not enough people do it these days. So
I put in a lot of work into making that, like,
it's a piece of art.
yeah, a piece of art good
Absolutely.
from start to finish. So
Well, I will say this too. You are in a perfect neighborhood to go digging through some old record stores. Chicago has got a lot of record stores. We have Record Store Day here in the States. I don't know if you guys have heard of that just yet, just being new to the States, but Record Store Day, it's like in March, but it's all things, celebrating records, and record stores throughout the city get special edition vinyl just for Record Store Day. And you can get stuff that has never been in print ever, and it will never be in print again. So
Wow.
a lot of these record stores in Chicago, though, have whatever wasn't sold. And you can just go digging and you'll find a recording of like Nat King Cole in Chicago in 1954, at some place, for $12. And it's just this incredible recording. So I give you that as my parting gift, and welcome you to Chicago here on Wednesday, September the 11th at the Chop House. When do you guys take the stage?
I think doors are at 7. We also have a VIP experience, which we meet our VIP fans, and we get to have a photo with them. They get a piece of a tote bag, a CD, and a poster, and then we do like a bit of an acoustic
and a
Q&A for them. And
that's been my favorite part of the whole tour.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, usually it's a handful of people like under 20, and just a chance for us to really connect on a deeper level with our fans, and they kind of become friends. Like you get to know these people because they share their stories about how our music has changed their lives, and then you see them pop up on Instagram or whatever, and it just it's a great way to connect with our fans. I've really loved that part of the tour.
The doors are at 7.
Yeah, and so fans can look for that experience if they find it. I'm guessing they can find it on the website there to purchase and check it out.
Yeah, we can buy the tickets from.
Amazing. Well, I wish you nothing but a great and safe travel up to Chicago. And if you can, really try to enjoy the city. Get out a little bit. I mean, just go for a walk in the neighborhood where the Chop Shop is. Yeah, lots of fun stuff. A lot of great donuts. You like donuts? There's great donuts. There's
I like coffee as well. So
Dark Matter coffee you want to try here in Chicago. It's amazing. So thank you, ladies, very much. My best to your brother, and we'll see you guys here on Wednesday.
Amazing. Okay, great. Thanks so much, John.
See ya.